In this video, we're going to discuss aggression. We will talk about aggression, bullying, cyberbullying, and intimate partner violence. So this can be a sensitive topic if you or a loved one has been bullied or is the victim of intimate partner violence or cyberbullying or any of that, and you need help. Please know that this number, 988, is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that on a few slides later, I'll also have a domestic violence number for you as well. Aggression is a behavior that's aimed to harm a person, an animal, or object, and it can come in many forms. So physical aggression is often what we think of when we think of aggression, where there's kicking, hitting, punching, or even damaging property. Verbal aggression is also sometimes commonly thought of when we think of aggression. It can involve name calling, yelling, making fun of somebody, putting somebody down, or putting something down, making fun of something. Relational aggression we don't always think of, and this is where there's an intent to ruin another person's relationship, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship. There's some sort of intent to ruin the relationship by starting rumors or telling lies. And this type of aggression is probably more common in females, especially those of the adolescent age. And now with social media, it's even more rampant. Passive aggression is when the aggression is indirect, maybe ignoring the individual or making snide remarks about the individual, not directly calling them names, not directly, having physical aggression, not starting rumors or anything like that. So it's this passive aggressive. There's aggression there, but it's very... Bullying is another type of aggression. And this type of aggression is intentional and repeated harm to another individual. Whether it's physical or emotional, it's repeated and it's intentional. It often involves an imbalance of power. A kid pushing another one on the playground isn't necessarily bullying. Calling another kid a name once may not be considered bullying either. It needs to be repeated. So pushing a kid down on the ground every day at recess. Calling that kid names every day during PE. I do think sometimes we're too quick to call certain behaviors bullying, but at the same time, it really is a serious problem in our schools. Whether it's at the elementary age, middle school, or high school, it is a serious problem. So my son had a bullying issue in 7th grade. He hadn't hit his growth spurt yet, so he was shorter than average. His body was also preparing for growth, so he had a little padding around his middle, and it happened in PE with a boy that had his locker right next to my son's. So PE was the last class of the day, and most days he'd get in the car just so upset and talk about how much he hated this boy, and we'll just call him John for the sake of the example. I'd ask him what had John done, and he wouldn't give me details except to say that he was so mean and all he wanted to do was punch him. We'd talk about how it wasn't okay to punch the kid, another kid, and I'd ask for more details so I could go to the teacher or the principal if it was bullying. And this went on for a considerable amount of time. It wasn't until this kid, John, started picking on one of my son's friends that he'd had enough. He finally went to the teacher and told him what was going on, and after getting a call from the vice principal, I finally got the full story out of him. Boys can be competitive in PE, and that was kind of how this started, but as the year progressed, John started name calling every day during PE. And the names didn't even make sense. One day he was called fat, the next day he was too skinny, but the names were hurtful. Thankfully, his PE teacher went to the vice principal and said that he saw the behavior rather than saying that my son had come to him. They were then separated in the locker room, separated on their PE numbers, and the bullying stopped. I heard the next year that there were actually 2 kids involved in the bullying incidents, and one of them was actually in juvenile hall for vandalism. Cyberbullying is similar to bullying, but it occurs with the use of technology, so it's more anonymous. This can be anything from posting a false rumor or pictures on social media to creating websites that actually target an individual, to sending viral text messages about another person. And this is an unfortunate result of cell phones, social media that didn't exist really when I was a kid. Well, I'm sure my kids have all witnessed this, if not experienced it firsthand. The best example I have is from one of my daughter's friends. One of their girlfriends that didn't even go to school with them felt left out at an event they went to. She felt that her night had been ruined, and so she decided to lash out in the form of cyberbullying. My daughter's friend, we'll call her Louisa, had talked to a boy at a post-formal party event that they went to, and that was it, nothing else. The cyberbully searched out this boy's ex-girlfriend via Instagram and told her that Louisa had had sex with her ex-boyfriend. This went viral around the school and on social media. To make matters worse, the ex-girlfriend was in Louisa's math class. Her and some of her friends started bullying Louisa in person and making her have to drop out of her math class. It didn't keep her from graduating, but it did keep her from having requirements to go to a 4-year college. So cyberbullying can have some serious consequences. So think before you act. Think before you start a nasty rumor about, and hopefully none of you are starting nasty rumors, but and talk to your younger siblings about it too, and explain to them that cyberbullying can really, really hurt and really have long-lasting effects. This statistics here that 1 in 3 teens have experienced cyberbullying in some way, shape, or form. So next we're going to talk about intimate partner violence. And so here is the domestic violence support hotline. So if you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please know that you have this number to call, and please do call it. So intimate partner violence can include current or former partners. And if we compare these two wheels here, you can see that at the very center of the violence wheel is power and control. This is when one partner wants the power, it can lead to violence. And you really can't even call them a partner, because a partner would be equal. So, and when you have equality, you have nonviolence for the most part. Intimate partner violence can include physical violence, sexual violence, stalking, psychological aggression. And here's just some of the things that contribute to violence, with, again, power and control being at the center. Using intimidation, making them afraid with, actions, looks, displaying weapons, using emotional abuse, calling names, putting people down, making them feel, not worthy, using isolation. So a lot of times when you have intimate partner violence, you have this person that's they try to separate them from their friends and their family so that no one will notice that violence. Controlling what the individual does. Minimizing, denying, blaming, using children, making you feel guilty about children, using children to relay a message, using male privilege, treating the individual like a servant, making them feel like they have to do everything for this individual who wants the power and control. There could be economic abuse as well, using coercion and threats. And again, though, what's at the center is power and control. And again, in the nonviolence circle, we have economic partnership. So there really is a partnership, negotiation and fairness, non-threatening behavior, respect, trust and support, honesty and accountability, responsible parenting and shared responsibility. This is what makes true partners in a relationship.